Courage is the key to life itself. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are. Right? There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, well, I'll never get out of this, so they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Man, the bus runs every day.
That's what defines the greatest performers from the people who haven't quite made it yet. It's really their ability to say, oh, if I should train now, I will. Oh, if I should eat like this, I will. Oh, if I should do this, okay, then I will. It's collapsing that, knowing what you should do and actually doing it and making that one. And that's ultimately a choice.
Tomorrow's not promised. Anybody who hasn't spoken to their parents or their brother or their cousin that they had a thing with or their ex and they don't talk anymore, call them right now. I do not want someone to be gone and I wish I had and wish I could have and I'm not doing that in my life.
Learn to say fuck you to the world every once in a while. You have every right to. Just stop thinking, worrying, looking over your shoulder, wondering, doubting, fearing, hurting, hoping for some easy way out. Stop it and just do.
Life is unpredictable. Not everything's in our control, but as long as you're with the right people, you can handle anything.
There's three types of people you need in your life. You need the inspired, the excited, and the grateful. So now you sit here and tell me you don't know what to do? You know what to do. But the people you're around ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. I'm begging you from a man to a man. Let go. Let go. Let go of these people who you know aren't for you.
I'm not perfect, man. I wake up and sometimes I don't think I'm good enough. Sometimes I don't think I'm creative enough. Sometimes I don't think my movie's going to work or the writing isn't great or the this or the that or da-da-da. But once again, that's the voice in your head that you have to tell to fuck off. And then maybe you take a little bit of that chip that it's giving you and use it as fuel.
I just like to be around peace. And if you've went through and experienced as much pain as I have, I've been through tremendous amounts of pain. Physically, mentally, spiritually. I've been through hell. In order to appreciate and understand great peace, you have to have went through and experienced great pain.
If you think a lot of money will make you happy, you never had a lot of money before.
So what do you value now? What's at the top for you to value?
Me, my children, my whole barometer of life. Yeah.
When anyone asks me, like, what should I do? I'm just like, just do anything. Anything will lead to something else, and you just got to get out there and take a chance. Even if it's unpaid work, whatever it is, it will lead to something better, so do everything.
What happens if you take a cold shower every day? The heart rate is gonna go down with 20-30 beats a minute, 24 hours a day. That means stress is gone. Cold shower a day keeps the doctor away. What happens more is that the blood flow runs much better through the system. The nutrients, vitamins and minerals and oxygen, they get better to the cells.
Man, if you got to get up every single morning and remind yourself how hard you need to work, you probably need to choose a different profession, you know, because that shouldn't be there. I wake up in the morning excited to get to it. You know, if I'm not training, I'm missing it. If I'm not watching a game of basketball, I miss it. There's no place I'd rather be. And if you have that feeling, then you're truly doing what God has put you on this earth to do.
I just had a dream to become something. That's the thing about dreaming. Just 8 years ago, I was crossing the Mediterranean to make it from Africa to Europe. Then I was homeless in Paris, sleeping in the street. If you believe in yourself, you can be your own hero or hero to somebody else. Keep dreaming, keep fighting.
So you're going to get judged anyway. So why live for that being a metric of success or failure? Why let the judgment or opinions of others be the reason why you share or you don't? Because guess what? If that person's not paying your bills, if that person's not saving your life, if that person's not giving you coaching, mentorship, and spiritual growth, why does their opinion matter?
Right.
And that's how I've kind of found it in my life to move beyond judgment.
Every single human being has value, and my value is not determined on how I look or what job I have or where I'm from, where I was born, how much money. All that stuff is nothing. So many teenagers, tease each other for how we look, and I tell the teenagers, do you think that I'm cool enough to be your friend? They're like, yeah, of course. I said, but I have no arms, no legs. They said, doesn't matter. I said, really? So it doesn't matter that I have no arms, no legs? I said, no, it doesn't matter. I said, then actually, if it doesn't matter, then why do we kill each other with our words if it actually doesn't matter? Why do we look ourselves in the mirror and see ugly instead of valuable? I want to ask you today, what are you looking for?
I have an insane belief in my own ability to manifest things. Insane belief. That I think it's ultimately complete sanity. But I believe we're creators, and I believe we create with every thought and every word. Every moment is pregnant with the next moment of your life.
Knowledge isn't power, it's potential power. And it's only powerful when it's applied, as you've said. I actually think the separator for people who apply and don't apply is ego. I really think I don't know everything. Ego is fear. Ego applies itself in lots of different ways, but probably the fact that you're not applying what you're learning is ego related in some way.
My hero, that's who I chase. Now, when I was 15 years old, I had a very important person in my life come to me and say, who's your hero? And I said, I don't know, I got to think about that. Give me a couple of weeks. I come back 2 weeks later, this person comes up and says, who's your hero? I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years. So I turned 25, 10 years later. That same person comes to me and goes, so are you a hero? And I was like, not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35. So you see, every day, every week, every month, and every year of my life, my hero's always 10 years away. I'm never going to be my hero. I'm not going to attain that. I know I'm not. And that's just fine with me because that keeps me with somebody to keep on chasing.
You should never, ever be embarrassed by those struggles. You should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. Instead, it's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages.
Knowing what it is about you that is infectious and being able to convey that to people as soon as you meet them is so important. Being memorable and making an impact is so important. That's true for so many different lines of work, and not just like as an actor, but you have to do things to stand out. You can't play by the rules. And I think that, just knowing that you're good enough and making sure that you stay on that path to be that person.
We all have varying degrees of loss and sadness and pain in our lives, and it's a necessity, honestly, because then how would we appreciate the good times and the hopeful times and all of the abundance that life has if you go and grab it. But it's a personal choice to get up and move on and be better.
How willing are you to listen to that inner voice that no one else can hear? That little scurvy elephant in there that says, you're not the boss of me. You can't tell me what I'm here for. You have to, it takes a kind of fearlessness, because fear is such an omnipresent force in our lives. I do what I do because of the passion I feel. I am not here because of what you paid me to be here for. I am not here because of any need that I have to sell another book. I am not here for anything external to myself. I am here because I have a passion within me.
No matter what you face, no matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge, anything that you're facing, the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking. Take that step every day, no matter what you are facing. Get up and start walking.
I think we've been hypnotized and conditioned into becoming materialists. I think that we define reality with our senses, and I think that is one of the biggest illusions. So the fundamental question is, can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet, but you've thought about enough times in your mind that your brain is literally changed to look like the event has already occurred. You no longer have to go anywhere to get it. Now it begins to come to you. You become the vortex or the magnet to your destiny.
Comparison is a formula for misery. And what we do in our life is we compare ourselves to the best day and the best picture on social media that we see of somebody else. We compare ourselves at different times in our lives too. You know, even if you're in a relationship, comparing your relationship in its 5th year to its 5th week isn't fair to that relationship. There's different stages in our life. So comparison is a pathway. There's pathways to happiness and there's pathways that lead us to unhappiness. One of those for sure is comparison. And it's an ego thing oftentimes with us. We're always trying to one-up things in our life. It's a matter, I think, really of being more present in the moment in your life and saying, I deserve to be happy right now.
Look, you have to stop looking at what you don't have and what's not happening for you and start appreciating like what you do actually have. Like, my man, you got on a nice watch, like your hat is fresh. Like, there's a lot of things, your family, there's a lot of things to be grateful for. And that's the only way you can climb out of like a place of focusing on what you don't have is by focusing on like, man, what do I have to be thankful for? And everybody got something to be thankful for. Even a homeless man, if he wanted to, he could be like, yo, I'm breathing today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my arms work, my legs work. You can start very small, and it's a process, but that's how you can get up out like of a negative space like that.
I think one of my greatest inspirations or things that I would feed off of basically was just obviously people not believing in the cloud of doubt that kind of I felt hung over my head and wanted to just prove everybody wrong. I wanted to make it. And I was going to make it regardless of what anybody said.
Do you have any regrets?
No. Don't have time to regret. We move on because we are acceptable for what we are, not what we think we should be. I'm accepted in myself by what I am, but not as I think I should be, because that's a lie. I'm a sinner. I'm an old sinner. I've done some bad things. I've done some good things. So, you just forgive yourself and move on.
We are told that if we're beautiful, if we're skinny, if we're successful, famous, if we fit in, if everyone loves us, that we'll be happy. But that's not entirely true. But the most important journey I think all of us will go through is the journey in ourselves, to find our truth, to find who we are and what makes us happy.
Life is one big psychological warfare that you play on yourself. You play on yourself, man. The most important conversation I ever had is with myself. And the shit I was telling myself was so tough, it was so wrong, it was so misguided, and it started to be what you say to yourself every single day. So I started flipping this into a whole different, I started being a master of what I was scared of. I was scared of my mind. And I became literally a master of that mind. And that's what from now on, it sets me apart from most people.
I think of myself as the greatest person that I can be. That's it. I'm not going to go out on out on a limb and say I'm the greatest this or that. I was a kid with a dream. That's it. And the people before me set the bar so high, and I was a little kid that wasn't afraid to dream as big as I could. And that's really it. Like you said, like we were talking before, I was dedicated, I was hardworking, and that put me in the shoes where I am now.
Happiness is a key because there's so many people that you see either in this industry or just in life in general that are going through their days and may have everything they could ever want, but they're not happy, So you have to focus on what makes you happy and make decisions in your career, in your life that make you happy. And so I've been trying to do that, and it's working, and saying no to things that are negative and saying no to things that you don't want to do, So I think that's my biggest piece of advice.
Our nose is located right above our mouth. Suppose you don't brush your teeth for 3 days. Though this nose is right here, it won't tell you you have not brushed your teeth. The whole room will know you have not brushed your teeth, but you will not know. This is the human predicament. It's very easy to see what's wrong with this guy, what's wrong with her, what's wrong with her. It takes a lot of observation to see what's wrong with this. That level of keenness of observation is missing in most people.
The reason why grandmama's cooking was so good, because she didn't cook Sunday dinner, Sunday evening, she started Saturday night. She let it marinate overnight, that's why it was so good. The reason why your gift is not like all these other gifts that are so microwavable is because God's put something in you that is too great. And you gotta know that what's inside of you is so great that it's taking a little bit longer because God did not call you to be microwavable.
The fact that I'm gonna die one day and that everyone around me is gonna die and no one will remember me after a certain point makes me feel so good. Like, because I could do the best thing in the world and nobody would remember it ever, and I'll die and it won't matter, and everyone else around me will die and it won't matter. Or I could do the worst thing in the world and that won't matter because I'll die eventually. So you don't really have to worry that much. Don't post everything you think. Don't. Just don't. If you're watching this right now, anybody, if anybody is watching this, don't post your feelings. Don't do it to yourself.
I'm dead, I'm in heaven, you're God. I imagine it was a big long line and you got judgment. David, congratulations, you made it to heaven, how you feel? And right now I'm a 300-pound man. You pull the paper down, it says David God, I'm reading it. And it has my name, but on this paper it says everything about you. Everything, because God knows all. 185 pounds, Navy SEAL, changed people's lives, all these amazing things. I look at God and say, God, the name is right, but what's on here is not me. He goes, it should have been you. This was the life that you were supposed to live, but you didn't try. So this is the life that you have.
You don't trust that someone's never going to betray you. You just trust that you'll be able to handle it if they do, that you'll be able to walk away. That's a massive key to it. Stop worrying about whether you can trust someone else. Maybe you can't. We don't know that. Only time will tell if you can trust somebody else. That is a pointless waste of your energy to worry about. Worry only about yourself.
You need something to be excited about when you wake up in the morning, and something that you're doing that has a purpose. And if you do something that you love and you have this amazing energy behind it, it's like it makes life so much better. And you can develop something and create a career for yourself out of something that you love to do. And that's what I taught my kids when they were growing up, and it seems to have worked so far.
The key with me is just always finding what the anchor is. And the anchor is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day before anybody else and grounding my thought process is in the no one will outwork me. No one. I love and I respect you guys. Motherfucker won't outwork me. All starts with this. 2 hands, putting it to work.
Feminism is about equality, and it's about choice. It's about a woman being able to say, I'm going to wear a dress, or I don't want to wear a dress, or I want this kind of future, or I don't want that kind of future. And it's about the ability to choose.
The biggest thing I'd say is give yourself permission to take time. Give yourself permission to recognize that living your passion and creating a purpose takes time. For some people, they've waited till 30 or 40 or 50 or 60. We want it to happen in our 20s, but your best years are yet to come.
If I were to do this, or if I were to give you, are you strong enough? Are you capable of being someone that's going to be in my life? That's how I approach things now. And I'm not being conceited. I'm saying it's actually an honor to be with me, because I think I'm a great person and I love people deeply, and I won't tolerate ever being treated the way that I have been.
What's the best piece of advice you ever got?
Learn when to say no. Learn when to say no.
What's the worst piece of advice you ever got?
YOLO, you only live once.
The Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. And when they go through a process of growing it, they have to water and fertilize the ground where it is every day. And it doesn't break through the ground until the 5th year. Okay? But once it breaks through the ground, within 5 weeks, it grows 90 feet tall. Now the question is, does it grow 90 feet tall in 5 weeks or 5 years? The answer is obvious. It grows 90 feet tall in 5 years. Because at any time had that person stopped watering and nurturing and fertilizing that dream, that bamboo tree would have died in the ground.
Why do nice people choose the wrong people to date?
We accept the love we think we deserve.
Can we make them know that they deserve more?
We can try.
The greatest people on the planet have suffered the most. Suffering is not bad. I'm suggesting suffering is awesome. The ego runs from suffering because it's the death of the ego. But I believe pain, difficult times, failure, loss is purification and preparation for personal heroism.
You're not helping people so that they can thank you. You're not helping people so that they can be grateful to you. You're helping people because you know it's the right thing to do, but more importantly, you're helping people because you get to understand and experiment and experience different parts of yourself.
God is not everybody's friend. He's only friend to those who fear him. A person who fears God has his heart. A person who fears God knows God. Because why? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowing God intimately. The Bible says friendship is reserved for those who fear God. Abraham was God's friend. God says, I will share with you before I decide what I'm going to do with Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot's a righteous man. He has no fear of God. He has no clue to what's about to happen to Sodom and Gomorrah. A person that fears God knows him intimately.
God is not going to forget you. Never give up on God, because God will not give up on you. And if you were me, man, wouldn't you be excited if God would use you to bring one soul to eternity? That's why I say, God, here is my life. I don't understand you all the time, but I trust you.
I believe there's mass confusion going on as to what happiness actually is. So here's what happiness isn't. Despite what you may have heard, happiness is not a choice. You can't just kick back and say, I choose happiness, and then have it happen. But wouldn't that be great, though, in life, if we could just choose things and have them happen automatically? No, it's not a choice, but it does begin with a choice. And once you've made that choice, like any choice in life, it has to be backed up with action to make it a reality.
Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
People can't get up in the morning and they can't get out of bed. I'm going to tell you why. Because they can predict the feeling of everything that's going to happen in their life. And their body's resigned to the familiar. It says, oh, another mundane day. But remember when you were a kid and you were going on a field trip? What happened then? You were up and dressed and ready to go before your parents were up. You know why? Because you knew something unexpected was going to happen. That's how we should live our lives. Waking up with the understanding that you expect the unexpected, and something unusual should happen in our life as a result of our efforts.
One thing I learned in life, you can never bring somebody up if they don't want to go up. You can't. No matter how good you think you are, no matter how much you want to tell them, you could help them. If they don't want to go up, there's nothing you can do. 100%. But the reverse is not true. Somebody bad could bring a good person down. Because the negativity in the world is much more stronger than the positive sometimes. And the negative people can bring you down. So I stay away from negative people. You're right. I just walk away from them.
If you don't love yourself, you won't allow somebody else to love you. If you could always just look in the mirror and see a human being that's trying and that's worthy of a high five, and a human being that failed and okay, we're going to brush it off and that's worthy of a high five. Somebody who is running the marathon of life that you're going to celebrate every step of the way.
My dad always said too that regardless of what you do in life and where you go, respect is going to be given when it's earned, and you have to go out and earn it every single day.
In what sense is our society male-dominated?
The fact that the vast majority of wealth is owned by men, the vast majority of capital is owned by men. Women do more unpaid labour.
Very tiny proportion of men, and a huge proportion of people who are seriously disaffected are men. Most people in prison are men. Most people who are on the street are men. Most victims of violent crime are men. Most people who commit suicide are men. Most people who die in wars are men. People who do worse in school are men. It's like, where's the dominance here precisely? What you're doing is you're taking a tiny substrata of hyper-successful men and using that to represent the entire structure of Western society. There's nothing about that that's vaguely appropriate.
In the book, you say there's your talent, but then there's your gift. And until you discover what your gift is, you are really sort of like aimlessly going through life. You're not really on purpose.
No. See, your talent, you can be a good accountant. You can be a good lawyer. That could be your talent.
Yeah.
But your gift is something. See, your talent will allow you to have a wonderful career. But this is what I've learned. Your career is what you paid for. Your calling is what you made for.
One, who are you and what your value is? Number two, what is your purpose here in life? And number three, what is your destiny when you're done here? If you don't know the answers of any of those three questions, you're more disabled than I.
Fear is going to be a player in your life, but you get to decide how much. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it.
Hey. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
Self-discipline and being able to perform and being able to keep your life on schedule and being able to keep commitments and promises and meet deadlines is essential to success.
You know, when you create something, you're trying to create a moment or a feeling or trying to create an idea or inspire people to make their lives better, right? And I see a lot of people get caught in ego gratification. A lot of people get caught in, you know, creating for money or creating for...
I'm always scared, right? Like, I'm always playing anxious and nervous. I think if you don't have anything that makes you anxious and nervous in your life, then you hate your life. Right? Because then you're just staying inside your comfort zone. You know exactly what to do. You're photocopying your life over and over and over again. And so life isn't about having no fears. It's about conquering the fears. What Dean said yesterday about having the courage to jump out of the helicopter, right? To be like on the edge here of the helicopter or the plane and say, I'm going to jump, to have the courage to do that. That's what you guys need to do.
Hey, there are a lot of things in life that can stop you. Don't let it be yourself, okay? Don't let it be the thing up here that holds you back. Please, please, all right? Don't stop until you've at least started.
Being in the practice of finding the light, love, and lesson in everything I do is a whole different practice. So if you can say to somebody, they say, oh, I really don't like this. Really? Let's try to find some light in that. Have you ever looked at it this way? Have you ever thought about it this way? Can you think about it this way? I literally challenge myself all the time. If I ever feel aggravated, I've completely changed my mindset to explore the light lessons in love and whatever it is. Not many people have that mindset, but the winners do.
And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right.
Thoughts create your life, and so you have to think positive thoughts all the time. You have to force yourself to think positive thoughts at times. And so I do a lot of different affirmations. You know, I am whole. I am good on my own. I love myself. I love you, Jennifer. I love the universe. The universe loves me. God loves me. I am youthful and timeless at every age. I am enough.
When you are a great reader, you can articulate and speak and command the English language in ways that other people cannot. And people think you're a lot smarter than you are, lots of times, because you're a great reader.
You were born to do great things.
Now's the time to leap over the obstacles of fear, procrastination, and self-doubt. Determine what you really want out of life. Write it down and read it over several times a day.